Okay, that was another good episode. I like the intro. Now, one of the scenes when he was going outside the house before he came outside, I mean, it was unfocused. It kind of looked like a toy set, but maybe that's because all the houses being the same because of uh, the house and being owned by the company. That being said, Mark on this date, sort of, kind of, and I noticed that that's the same woman that's in the new Daredevil season. But the way he acted towards them people that was trying to end Severance, but like in a certain sense, they're right. It's like Severance is like self mutilation in a way. It's like you going every time you go into work, you're cutting out a piece of your brain every day. You got work. And I mean, we just get to see how the implant is done and drilling into your head pretty far to put the implant in. That's some crazy work. And also, I think it's funny that, you know, it depends on how well does she know herself to have. She knew that she would, like, probably freak out because, like, you waking up in a room not knowing who you are, where you are, and what's going on when you sign up for this until you start doing the job. And her other self, her work self, was trying real hard to get out. Still is in a sense. But you would think if you know yourself well enough, you would know that going this wouldn't work with you unless she's a spy or something. I don't think that's the case, but just saying, you must not know yourself well enough to know that this wouldn't work. But the company also has to set up to, like, even if you request, like, to talk to your other self to quit, it usually doesn't get applied. It usually gets denied most of the time. And we don't know what happened with PD for him to actually finally not be working at the company anymore. And I was thinking at the end of the episode was what was going on with him. I'm like, is this because he's in one of the company houses that this is starting to happen to him? I mean, I know that he was already not doing well before getting there, but it seems like it ramped up significantly when he was in a company house. So I'm not certain. But also, what she was saying, the woman at the date was saying, is also like really interesting too. Like you could be in there, you could have a work girlfriend essentially, and never know because y'all don't meet outside that job, and there's not really a big chance you'll run across the others. And even if you do, you don't know them, so you have no reason to talk to them. Like I said before, so that's interesting because it's like you are living two separate lives. And your work self remembers the last work day, but also doesn't feel the passing of time necessarily. And I was like, what happened in with Martin? What's his name, Martin? The older gentleman. Uh, I'm like, does he have like a mental illness and that's affecting his work self? Or is this just like a degradation, a natural degradation when it comes to these implants? But, it was brought up like earlier in him dozing off before and like him saying it's not his fault that he was as old as he is when he applied for this. But I'm like, is his outside self having medical issues that's affecting this work self? That'd be interesting to see. But I'm curious to see what comes next because a homeboy in the shower and it looked like he probably brain gone or something. Also, Hannah finally uh, became afraid of the numbers, so she was able to do the job. But then we get this recording of homeboy basically letting us know what happens in the break room. It's basically like brainwashing, like they're conditioning you to say these things so that they don't have to deal with any consequences because you agreed to this. I mean, you agree to a company basically chopping up your brain every day for a job you have no idea of what's actually going on. You don't even know what the other departments are or have met any, except for this episode where we did. It was a really good episode, so I'm curious to see where we go from here, how much more information we get.